All right, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new here, I'm so glad you came to join us. I hope you find it to be a really good use of your time. Um, and if you're coming back, we love seeing all your smiling faces. Welcome back. If you're watching on YouTube, go to the description, grab the handout for this session so you can follow along. And if this kind of legal technology talk is helpful, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos on legal technology talk. So as we know, Lawmatics did some pretty extensive upgrades to the Matter screens, and Beth is going to go over that today. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Beth.
Okay. So we know a lot changed this week in your kitchen. We know it feels like somebody rearranged your kitchen. So that's what we're going to help you out with. Okay. So you walk in your kitchen to make coffee. The coffee maker's in the pantry, the mugs are in the garage, and the spoons are nowhere. That may have been a little bit of what it felt like this week. And that's kind of what we're going to go over. But the reality is that Lawmatics hasn't removed your tools. They've simply performed a renovation to improve workflow efficiency. Um, and it's funny because that reminded me of a show a while ago where this woman was staying with this guy's house and he comes down and he can't find anything in his kitchen. And she's talking about the food prep triangle. And she moved everything into the food prep triangle and it was all better. And that's kind of what they did. They put a food prep triangle in there and well, yeah, it really messed us up this week. So the goal of today is to show you while the drawers have moved, the new layout is actually requires less walking, clicking and scrolling. Once you know where the silverware lives, the changes are in three main areas, and that's what we're covering. The top bar, countertop, is where you cook. Info and buttons are rearranged, but they're still there. The details page, that's the silverware drawer. This used to be just a drawer with all the silverware thrown in, and I've said that over and over. That is the one thing that I did not like about it. Um, they gave you the ability to add a silverware drawer organizer to it. And then the sidebar. That's, kind of like your appliance garage. That's where you can put your most used and referenced data there so you can see it easily. So now, where are your spoons? So let's look at the countertop first, and then we'll go into Lawmatics and look at the stuff. I took this, and it's funny because this was driving me nuts all week. And once I actually laid it out and looked at it last night, it made sense. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really happy to see all these changes. Really struggled this week with it, and there are still things I don't like. But I got over the annoyance and put my process improvement glasses on, and it began to make some sense. When I actually drew it out, it made more sense. And this is one of our handouts. So please take it, and it will help to retrain your brain so your muscle memory catches up a little quicker. So use it to make sense of where the things moved. You can see all the buttons that used to live under the name bar up here. Um, they're now, they live up here in the top bar, right? The information that was on the top bar now lives in the left sidebar in one way, shape, or form. Um, so we'll cover the sidebar customization in a minute to where you can make it how you want to see it. Your quick actions in these orange boxes, they've moved over here to a drop down. Makes sense to free up real estate. As does moving the tab controls to a new tab type. It matches kind of everything else that's in Lawmatics anyway. Seeing it mapped out really helped my brain retrain the muscle memory, and I hope that helps you all out too. So now let's go to Lawmatics and talks about the customizations that you can do. So in a matter now, this is what a new matter looks like. So if we go into the details here, this used to be, you would have start information up here. You would have matter information, which you could not customize. And then you would have all of your custom fields down here. they'd be split out between matter custom fields and practice area custom fields. And yeah, it was just a mess. And you would try to organize them, and as soon as you'd add one, everything would go out of whack. It's kind of like moving a picture on Word and everything changes. That's kind of what was going on here. So this is now you're able to organize this. First of all, it auto defaulted to put a start information box up here with your information that was in the start. So they didn't just erase everything you did. It's still up here. But you can, I've renamed this just to important information, and you can put all different kinds of stuff in here. It's not separating it out between matter, practice area, and contact. So you have a lot more flexibility in how you want to see this. And then you come into you can make as many of these boxes as you want, and you can get rid of these boxes. But your matter information has your main matter information. You can organize that how you want to see it. And you can add other things into your matter information. So for example, this is a custom data field, this follow-up type, and I wanted that in with everything else. That's where I wanted to put it. It has lead attorney and originating attorney in there, and I have my client services coordinator up here, my paralegal here. My process information, what's going on with it, how are we moving this through, what are we doing with this? I put that into a nice little process information thing. And one of the things I pulled up was our outcomes from our intake and consultation outcomes, so that it's really easy to see what that was. Now, any of these you can shrink. Okay. Contact information, you can add and remove things out of here that you may not want in there. And you still have your addresses, emails, and phone numbers that you can add down there. In this case, I separated these out into kind of collections where we have agreement info. This is the information that's going to go into an agreement. Maintenance information. I didn't pull all the fields into here. Okay. So that's kind of important to note, is that I did not pull all the fields in. And the reason that I didn't do that, sorry, what is going on? Hold, please. I got stuff going everywhere here. Okay, so the reason that I didn't do that is because we still need to use forms for some things. And that shouldn't fall into that. Some of those fields you don't need to see. They're there. They're in the back. They're doing what they need to be doing, but this is the right maintenance information we need. If we need to update and do anything with maintenance, I really want to force you to open the form, because the form drives the automations. So while you can organize these things and put them in where you need to go, it is important that you don't discard your forms for that, right? And when you're grouping these together, to group them in ways that kind of make sense. So here, like, we've grouped maintenance together. We put client review in here. We put all the information from a client review that used to be very hard to see before. Firm review. And then this one also has like imported data. So if we have fields where data has been imported and put into a field, you can see that, and you can see what that information is in the past instead of having to go look at it. Okay. So this is very fluid. You can move around in here. You can make these look any way you want. And we'll go into how you actually do that in a minute. Now, the sidebar over here has this. So the sidebar, the practice area is moved over here. The status has moved over here. And there's matter details that are here. And then below there, there's your relationships. Now, everything down to relationships is static, so you can't change those. But you can put other information below here. So it's not automatically pulling in phone numbers and emails and things like that, but you can absolutely put it down here so it is there. And I put actual value there. That was the one thing that a lot of people wanted to be able to see quickly, where we can put actual value and our estimated value. And their emails are here, so you can still email. You have access to their email right here. Um, this guy doesn't have a phone number. And then you can pull any other field over here. So any other field, whether it's a contact field, a matter field, or what used to be a practice area field, which is now in your matter field, um, it can go ahead and pull those into here. So you can pull anything here you want to see for a quick look. I wanted to see how they wanted to be communicated by, um, and what their EP plan type was, if they've submitted their decision vault questionnaire, and who the lead attorney is. That's the most important thing I wanted to see over here. Okay. So that's what I put in there. So you can customize that to whatever you want that to be. Okay. So now how do we make this look like this? Like, how do we do this? So it's in settings. So you go into settings and then you go into firm set. I'm sorry. No, you go into matters and you go to custom views. And you can create a new custom view. You can also do this in roles, by roles. So for those of you who aren't familiar what roles are, in your manage user screen, there's roles here and you can create multiple roles. Remember, you can create as many roles as you want, right? Here's how you add a new role and you choose what they have access to, and what features they have access to. So you can create a new role and as many of those as you want. So now let's go back to matters and go to the custom views. And we can create a new matter view.
Just a
So
real quick question, Beth.
Mhm.
Is this firm level or individual level?
It is firm level, but
Oh, thank goodness.
yeah, right. But it is, you set it up by role or for all roles. And you can set it up by practice area or all practice areas.
Okay.
So, but it will also always default to the role. Okay.
Okay.
So, if you
But
have
what
a
I set
role,
up is for everybody so that if I go, oh, it's the third line down,
correct,
it's the third line down for everybody, is kind of what I'm
correct.
asking. Okay. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yep. Yep.
And Beth, I want to clarify, it defaults to role if there's a conflict between
Yes.
things, which Beth will show you.
Yep. Yeah. So you apply to all roles, and then we can choose our practice area that we want to apply this to. So we can say probate can look a different way than estate planning. This is very similar to the form builder. As far as adding things, you can add section dividers in here. That will give you the ability to divide within the section, various things. So if I wanted to put first name, last name, their birth date, and their occupation in here, I can put that in there, and then I can drag a divider down, and I can call this contact info. And then I can put their emails in there and their phone numbers in there. And now that's there. And I can change this to, client information instead of matter information. Like, you can customize this any way you want. You can add a new section. Now in my new section, maybe I want this to be, let me go up here on the side and close this. If I want this to be, I think I have some probate stuff in here. Yeah. So I want this to be probate information. So I can pull in, the estate EIN, the court county, my probate case number. What department is it? Now I can put that under the court so it's there. What is the case type? Oh, I want that at the top. And when is the next hearing date? I want that at the top. I can drag this up here. You can drag things and move them. If I want to put that on its own line, I just drag it down here and drop it. It's giving you two, you can go too wide with those, and you can put anything else in there. And then you just hit save. And with that, I didn't rename it. Now for probate, it would bring up that view. However, this, if I wanted a separate view for probates, I'm sorry, a separate view for a paralegal, and I had a different one that was a paralegal and probate, it would default to the one for that paralegal. Or if I had one that was like this, and I'll show you exactly how this is. So if I said I wanted, I don't have a paralegal in here, of course, paralegal and apply to all practice areas, and I put my stuff in here, whatever I wanted, I'm just throwing stuff in there. Now, if this was a paralegal, it would go to this one first before it went to this one. Okay. So that's a little confusing, but your roles are your first preference. So what they're using is their first preference, and you can set one to a default. So if you don't have something set up for that role in that practice area, that's what your default is. So Lori, in your case, for the question you just asked, you would actually just set up a default matter view, and you might want one for your different practice areas and just set them up with all rules in that practice area. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the one thing in here that you can also do is we'll go in here and we'll edit this sidebar. So when you click customize sidebar, it brings up another little thing, but it works the same. It's like a form builder. You can put section dividers in there, but it is just one section. You can put section dividers in, and you can pull in any information. So like here is where you're pulling in email addresses and phone numbers, and you may want to pull in maybe you want to show who the matter salesperson is, when they were hired, they're converted at. You can pull in any custom fields into there as well. And any of your matter custom fields, because they're all there and you can pull them in. You don't need to scroll through all of them. There is a filter up here at the top where you can put in what you're looking for, if you kind of know the name, and find it and be able to drop it in there. And then once you do that and you save that, then that's where that is, and that would be used for probate. So my probate would look like that if I ordered a probate matter. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in this estate planning matter, because you can go into those and adjust them as well. And one of the things that I've done is I have my client service coordinator and my paralegal up here. I'm going to move these down, and I'm going to see what happens. It will not allow you to just transfer them. So you need to put it down another row. Now I can move my request Google review up there, and then I can move my client service coordinator up there. So that is one of the things that I ran into playing with this that annoyed me, because I'm like, if I want this to go there, make that go there, and it doesn't, you can't do that. Makes sense in my head now, but in this top portion, I also want to move lead attorney up here and originating attorney, because I want to know who those are. And I also want to move my drafter up here, because I want to know who my drafter is. And I'm going to move that up so I have those. So my bottom row is that. So I can rearrange that and put that in there easily, very quick to make those adjustments. So when I go back into my matter I was just in, that I opened over the top of.
Can you have that in multiple places, I'm assuming? Like attorney in multiple practice areas, say, et cetera?
For your different practice areas, yes, you can't have like lead attorney in multiple sections. Like it's still one field. So you can't have it in two different sections.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you did that, and there's a good reason for it, if you did that and you went into here and you click this, now see what it did? Even though it's estate planning, it defaulted to my default because I messed it up. I put another one in there and it overrode it. So now let me go fix that and get rid of this role here. Now let's hope it all comes back for me. There we go. So now I have this is set up correctly. Here's my lead attorney, originate attorney. And I clicked the edit and your save button is here. It's not all the way at the bottom anymore. It stays there. So if you're halfway down and you make changes, you can hit save. You don't have to scroll. So that does help out with your scrolling. And all that information is right there. Then you can click back and go back. Your quick actions are here. So you can quickly add a note, schedule a, a requested appointment, make a task, log an activity, or send an email right from here or from here, all this stuff. So yeah. So some tips on this and in doing this, and I'll get to your questions in a minute. When you're building the custom details page, you can make a new role, a new view for each role and practice area. So it could be a lot of setup, but it may be worth it depending on your team. And honestly, and I know there's some firms who they're very, this person wants it this way, this person wants it this way, especially like between attorneys and stuff like that. So you could set up their own individual role because you can have as many of those as you want, and as many views as you want. So if attorney A wants to see it this way and attorney B wants to see it this way, you can set up two different views for them. They can see them either way they want to view. And when you're organizing them, organize them in a way that makes sense to the person using them. So of course, talk to your team. That may seem kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised how often it's not. They do have options now. You can make it to make their job easier. So absolutely talk to them and do that. And then yeah, just remember that they do not replace forms for your internal use for a lot of things. For some things they can, but you need to be very careful if you're going, oh, we're not going to use this form anymore. We're just going to organize this on our page that way. If that form is triggering an automation, that's not going to work anymore. Okay. So you really need to be careful with that and make sure that you're not just willy-nilly deleting forms. So the learning curve on this, yeah, muscle memory takes 3 to 5 days to reset your muscle memory. That's 3 to 5 days of doing it all the time. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit, but you're kind of getting to the point now, where it's starting to feel a little smooth. Doing something for 28 days makes it a habit. So we're kind of in between that 3 to 5 days and the 28 days. It's not a habit yet. We're not accustomed to it yet, but it will be getting easier. And in 4 weeks, it's going to feel very smooth and you'll probably even forget what the other one looked like. So give yourself some grace. Okay. You're in that transition period. Yes, it can get frustrating. And yes, I am probably going to ask multiple people 50 times over the next 3 weeks who move my spoons because it's annoying and I can't find stuff. So yeah. Okay. So John, before we go to questions, do you have anything with this?
Just a couple reminders in this. You don't have to build custom views. So when you
Correct.
hear this, don't stress out and think now you have to go do this. You don't. they dumped all your fields in with a default view. Um, so you don't have to do that. You can keep working how you did. Again, keep working with forms. Don't stop doing that.
Right.
If you're set up to use forms. But don't feel like you have to. We encourage it, but you don't have to. And if you need help, um, set up a let's chat, or if you're not working with us, set up a discovery meeting with us on our website. We would love to help you with this. A couple quick things. Hidden field options don't exist anymore. Um, and start option doesn't exist anymore. So Beth, will you just address those really quick?
Yeah, so in if we go back into our settings and we go to our custom fields, um, if you're going to add a new custom field, you used to have an option here of a starred, default, or a hidden, and that's not there anymore. They're just all default. And then, however, before they dumped everything in there into the new setup, they did organize them on your page in your default view for your starred, default, and hidden. And they split them out for you. But that's not there anymore. And that's fine. It doesn't need to be because now you can customize it to your heart's content.
Yeah, and with the hidden, just because it's not there doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if you
Right.
don't put something on the form, or on the view, it doesn't mean the data is not in that matter. It just means that that person can't see it. But if they're on a form and they enter something, but they don't have permission to see that, it will still go into that matter. So the data is there, it's just not showing. So they actually took hidden on the bottom where you could shrink it and not, and put it to a truly hidden where you just can't see it. So now it actually has the real, I guess, the real terminology. Um,
Right.
that's what I had. Can you just go over the top bar real quick, Beth, and how to change matters? Since
Oh,
there's,
yeah. So up here in this top bar, your one that is highlighted is where they're at. So if you now this guy, he's in complete maintenance, but let's move him back. If we were going to let me just move him back right away, actually. If you're going to change a stage, you can use this drop down and you can change to any stage in any pipeline. Okay. But if this guy was all the way back in drafting, you see these little dots over here. This will show your whole pipeline, and then you hit those dots and it'll show you all of the rest of your options. So you don't need to scroll. You need to scroll to the left and scroll to the right. I got a fancy new mouse with a left-right scroll on it, so scrolling doesn't bother me as much anymore. However, it used to really annoy me because I'm like trying to grab this little thing and drag it, and it did just drive me nuts. So this is actually kind of an improvement with that because you don't have that left-right scroll bar anymore. You have a drop down to move it. And the, but this only moves it within the pipeline that you're in. And this over here goes back in that pipeline. If you need to move it to a different pipeline, you use this drop down and it gives you all of your stages and you can move it to any stage in there. And you can also click this and it'll show any of your stages that are marked to track time. It'll show how long they were in those stages. So that can be helpful when you're looking at things in the matter. And right here, I don't know if I pointed this out. If you want to edit things on your details page, your edit button up here does it, and also this edit button here. So both of those are edit buttons now that take your details and make them available to be edited. Okay?
yeah,
Beth, can I
perfect.
ask you, can you go back and show how do you move the person from the current pipeline to an entirely different one?
Yeah. Yep. It is right here in this little drop down beside the one that's
Whatever
highlighted is the
stage
one that
they're
they're
in.
in.
Okay.
Yep. So if you drop this down, you can move them to any stage in any pipeline.
Okay. Great. Now I see that. Okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
And then let me show you this one. This makes it a little easier. He was in estate planning, and our estate planning are all gray. It's terrible. But anyway, so you can see these. If your pipeline is color coded, which our PCM pipeline, all the yellows are follow-up processes and all the purples are appointments. So if it's color coded, you can see the color a little bit on these small little circles, but the one that you're on has the bold color under it and the color, so you can very easily see where they're at. So yeah, color code your pipelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're going to get into a lot of questions now. So
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap this up so we can start the open Q&A. So yeah, before we wrap it up, just a quick note for anyone watching on YouTube. We always stop the recording here and then open it up for live Q&A. This part isn't recorded so that people can ask real questions and talk through real situations. If you want to be a part of that conversation, we do this live every Friday at noon Eastern. It's free, and the link to join is in the description.